Afternoon, members and people in the audience. The Senate E12 committee will come to order. For the record, today is March 4th, and we have 4 bills today. The first one is Senator Pratt, Senate File 247. Let's see. Senator Pratt, do you have any amendments?
No, Mr. Chair, I do not.
Senator Pratt has no amendments. Senator Jasinski moves Senate File 247 to be laid over. Senator Pratt, would you go ahead and explain your bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a bill that the committee's heard before. Senate File 247 is a simple bill that clarifies the responsibilities of school nurses, districts, and parents when the school is required to administer medications for a student. And their members are really just 2 basic proposals. First, it requires parents to sign a form allowing the school district to transport the drug for proper disposal, or, in the case of the drug being a controlled substance, that the parent must retrieve any unused portion still at school. And then secondly, that the school district adopt policies and procedures for handling controlled and uncontrolled prescriptions. Rather than mandate that each school follow a prescribed process, we believe that each school district should work with their local pharmacists and law enforcement officers to ensure safe disposal of any unused medication to mitigate the liability to the district or any of their personnel. And Mr. Chair, I would then reserve any other comments for my one testifier, Ms. Knockleby.
Ms. Knockleby, would you please, first, welcome to the Senate E12 committee. We appreciate your being here. If you would state your name and who you represent and proceed with your testimony.
Okay. Chair and committee members, thank you, Senator Pratt, for once again sponsoring this bill. My name is Susan Knockleby. I am the past president of the School Nurse Organization of Minnesota and a member of the School Nurse Organization of Minnesota Legislative Committee. Medication abandonment in school is a very real thing. Parents and guardians often don't pick up the meds at the end of the year, or when they move, or when the medication order changes, which leaves the schools with the medications. While we do try to contact parents and guardians to retrieve the medication, the reality is we often end up with many more of them with limited ways to destroy them. Former methods such as flushing them down the toilet or throwing them in the garbage is not safe. When I switched to a new school, I always look for that stockpile of medications and have found many filled paper bags full of medications that the former school nurse didn't know what to do with them. With this bill, at least school districts would be able to safely deposit the abandoned medications in the community medication drop boxes. At this point, those drop boxes are only for personal or family medications. And also, as Senator Pratt noted, transporting the medications is problematic too. This bill would eliminate those barriers for safe medication disposal at schools. Senate File 247 has bipartisan support. It has no fiscal note. I'm hoping the third time is a charm for its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Knockleby. Members, any questions for Senator Pratt or for the testifiers? Seeing no questions. Senator Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Pratt and to others in a bipartisan way to put this together. I noticed that earlier version it was referred to Health and Human Services. Is that correct? And I think we're going to lay it over, but is there a need for the bill to potentially go there as well?
Senator Pratt, are you aware of a need for that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Uyghur. I believe the first time we ran it through, there was a request to have it referred to Health and Human Services, and then based on how it was amended, it was no longer necessary. That was the first year that we had the bill up, but the last 2 times, this time and the previous time, it would not require a stop at HHS.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. The bill will be laid over then. Any other questions by the members? Seeing no other questions, Senator Pratt, any final comments?
Mr. Chair, I will echo what Ms. Knockleby said. Hopefully the third time is the charm.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. Senator Jasinski renews his motion. The Senate File 247 be laid over.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. Senator Eichhorn, Senate File 580. Senator Eichhorn, would you like to move your bill?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I could move Senate File 580, please. And I also have an author's amendment.
Okay, Senator Eichhorn moves Senate File 580 to be laid over. Senator Eichhorn, would you, what is your author's amendment, A1?
Yes, it's the A1 amendment, Mr. Chair, and it basically is going to change the dates. We did hear this bill last year, so it's just changing the dates 1 year out from what was the previous year.
Senator Eichhorn has the A1 amendment. It will be treated as an author's amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Senator Eichhorn, if you would please proceed explaining the bill as amended.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. And committee members for taking the time to hear Senate File 580. This is a bill to extend school counseling services to our BIE schools, Bureau of Indian Education schools, and to private school and homeschool students in kindergarten through 6th grade. Just to jog your memories, counseling funding for our BIE schools was included in last year's education bill, but not for homeschool or private school students, and my hope is that both can be included this year. State law also directs funding to public schools to provide these counseling services, but only to homeschool and private school students in grades 7 through 12. So the question is, why aren't our BIE schools and students in kindergarten through 6th grade also covered? Members, this bill, I think, is about fairness and doing what's best for all students in our state. If we're going to require schools to perform fire drills, tornado drills, lockdown drills, and other things that can cause some students great stress, I think it's only appropriate that the state also provide money for schools to be able to do counseling services for those students as well. I'd like to thank the various groups that are here to testify today, and Mr. Chair, we even got a good testifier from Rochester, but unfortunately, Madam Chair isn't here today, it looks like, so, but hopefully you'll still appreciate that. I do have one testimony before, what's that?
So noted.
Thank you. I do have, before I hand it over to the testifiers, I did receive from a constituent an email that wanted to testify, but 3.5 hours is a long way to go. So I'm going to read just a quick paragraph here from a constituent, Mackenzie, in support of the bill.
Please go forward.
Mackenzie says, I am a school counselor working in a Catholic school serving students in pre-K through 8. I have witnessed firsthand the need for counseling support for students in every grade. We have students as young as 6 who are already experiencing significant trauma, abuse, and neglect, as well as many young adults with anxiety. Addressing these concerns early helps students become more resilient and aid in their growth to become successful individuals. As of now, our resources to help support these students are limited. About half of our students are on free and reduced lunch, and the school has limited funding for student support services and support needs, Bill, Senate File 580 would make great strides in developing our support approach for these students. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my testimony and voting yes on Senate File 580. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to hand it over to the testifiers we have here today.
Thank you, Senator Eichhorn. And just for the record, have it noted that we do have a quorum. And the testifiers, Mr. Benz and Ms. Alcala Saner, I hope I got close.
Saner, yes.
Saner, I apologize. If Mr. Benz, if you would like to state your name and who you represent and go ahead with your testimony, we would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Appreciate this opportunity. My name is Tim Benz. I am the president of the Minnesota Independent School Forum. We are the largest statewide organization representing the non-public schools in Minnesota. I also have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Non-Public Education Council for the Department of Education. Just for context, there are approximately 460 non-public schools in Minnesota, educating more than 65,000 students. The average size of a non-public school is 144 students, and the median size is 89 students. On behalf of our schools and students across the state, I am here to support Senate File 580. Minnesota's non-public pupil aid program was established in 1975 to provide, quote, educational aids such as textbooks, standardized tests, and pupil support services so that every school pupil in the state will share equitably in education benefits, end quote. Currently, the guidance and counseling services in non-public schools is only available to students in grades 7 through 12. However, students in grades K through 6 are unable to benefit from this critical program. The proposed expansion would ensure equitable access to non-public students in grades K through 6, similar to their counterparts in public schools. As you know, mental health challenges for students continue to increase. We hear with greater frequency school leaders and educators across Minnesota seeing younger students with more complex needs, increased anxiety, stressors at home and isolation, lockdown drills, and addressing stories of school-related violence. All of this makes learning for the student a tremendous challenge. One key priority of this legislation is the opportunity for early identification and intervention of mental and emotional issues, academic, personal, social, that could be addressed much earlier than grade 7. We believe the investment in services at a younger age will result in greater savings and better outcomes down the road for all students. My colleague will share her stories from the front lines. I want to thank Senator Eichhorn again for sponsoring this bill and for the committee for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate File 580, and I am happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Benz. Madam Sainer?
Good afternoon. My name is Robin Alcala Sainer, and I'm a non-public school counselor in Rochester, Minnesota, and I'm here in support of SF 580. To provide a brief background, I started as a non-public school counselor in 1994, and after a brief 5-year hiatus of teaching as a professor at Winona State University, I came back to a .73 non-public position in Rochester. Yesterday, as I was gathering my thoughts of what I was going to share with you today, an elementary teacher in one of my buildings came to the counseling office with a student who was quite dysregulated all day. An hour later, I was making a child protection report on that student. Earlier in the day, a student was found sitting in a music room crying. Apparently, the songs that they sang in music yesterday reminded him of his father who died 3 years ago. I was able to spend the time it took to allow the child to share memories of his father and help him return to an emotional state that allowed him to finish the school day successfully. If there would not have been a school counselor available to these children yesterday, I wonder what would have happened. One child may have continued to exhibit difficult behaviors. Parents would have been contacted, which may have led to further maltreatment, and the cycle would have continued. At best, the other child would have cried it out and returned to class eventually, or maybe spent the day in the nurse's office or been sent home. Fortunately, we didn't need to find out what would happen. What we have been experiencing in all schools in Minnesota is an increase in emotional dysregulation at early ages due to grief, trauma, mental health, and learning issues. According to the CDC, 1 in 6 children ages 2 to 8 years old have a diagnosable mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. Diagnoses of anxiety and depression have been steadily on the rise in children ages 6 to 17 since 2003. Early diagnosis and appropriate interventions for children and their families can make a difference in the lives of children with mental disorders, as well as the schools and communities in which they live. These issues impact all schools, and no family and no community is immune to these struggles. Minnesota schools have recognized the need to increase services to young people in recent years. In addition to increasing elementary school counselors, social workers, and school psychologists over the past few years, thanks to grant money available, over the past decade, public schools in Minnesota have added positions such as behavior specialists, mental health practitioners, and student success coaches. Rochester, Minnesota is a strong and vibrant community and school district, yet non-public services receive 2 hours per day of nursing and a half day to 2 days a week of junior high or high school counseling services. This is insufficient to meet the many needs of students. School counselors are the only resource within the non-public buildings who are trained and licensed to address academic, behavioral, personal, social, and career needs of all students and provide consultation to teachers, parents, and administrators. Additionally, we provide prevention and social emotional learning to students through classroom lessons. We build individual resiliency, develop academic skills, and practice functional relationship building with students. However, beginning this process in 7th grade is too late for many students. Additionally, students who have mental health issues and require support outside of school are waiting a minimum of 6 weeks for an appointment with a mental health professional. The school counselor is the front line for assisting those students in their daily struggles, as well as the main referral sources for connecting those students and families to practitioners. Students in the buildings I work in are dealing with behavior and academic difficulties as a result of divorce, loss, poverty, trauma, parent addiction, chronic illness, learning disabilities, sexual identity issues, and mental health issues. Please support providing elementary school counselors in all buildings. Thank you to Senator Eichhorn for sponsoring this bill and the opportunity to testify in support of Senate File 580. I'm happy to answer any questions the committee has.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Members, in your packet for today, you will find a fiscal note for Senate File 580 that does incorporate today's author's amendment, which updates the fiscal years. On the very front page of the fiscal note, you can see the estimated fiscal impact for this bill is $1.956 million for fiscal year 2021, $2.3 million for fiscal year 2022, and $2.4 million for fiscal year 2024. If you turn to pages 2 and 3, you can see the assumptions that this estimated fiscal impact is based upon. The cost is largely driven by a couple of things. First of all, it's driven by pupil counts for non-public elementary pupils and tribal contract elementary and secondary pupils. It's also driven by the actual cost of public school guidance expenses for fiscal year 2018. There is also a 5% administrative set-aside, which is from 123B46. It's a required set-aside. That 5% goes to districts for administering the aid to non-public schools. And then finally, on page 4, you'll see that there are $12,000 in fiscal year 2021 for minute costs for upgrading the system to allow districts to report the number of non-public students within their service area, and for the Department of Education to calculate the cost for the non-public pupil aid for guidance and counseling services. So as you can see in the long-term fiscal considerations, this would be ongoing for fiscal year 2021 and later. I'm glad to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hoffer. Senator Eichhorn, any comments on the fiscal note?
No, Mr. Chair, I don't have any questions. I did see the fiscal note and did have an opportunity to view it, but Ms. Hofer's description was very helpful as well.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Senator Eichhorn or for the testifiers? Any questions? Senator Swedzinski.
You know, so where in the bill does it talk about homeschool students needing the, where's
Senator
that,
Eichhorn.
in, what line is that in?
I believe, Mr. Chair, Senator Swedzinski, I believe it references non-public students. Homeschool students would be a part of that, and private school students. I don't believe usually in statute that we normally list homeschool or private separately. It's always just together as non-public.
Thank you, Senator Eichhorn. Senator Swedzinski, follow up?
So that, I'm just raising this comment, or it's not maybe a question per se, but if you'd like to address it. The state constitution gives us the charge of creating a general and uniform system of public schools. So I don't know how, with such a need of our public schools and the counselor ratio, we have one of the worst counseling ratios in the country. I believe we're 44th in student to counselor ratios. I don't know if the counselors, and I do see this letter from the president of the Counselors Association, which does kind of give me some sense of relief, but I'm concerned how we can, that the public schools can take the counselors and tell them and look in their eyes as we say it, that we will, you guys aren't that busy, so now we're going to give you the responsibility of the kids that are being homeschooled. And so I guess I'm just raising that concern in the grand scheme of things, that whether or not this is even within the purview of Article 13 of the state constitution. So.
Mr. Chair, may I address that?
Just 1 second. Anne Marie, I believe, wants to respond to that.
Mr. Chair and members, not necessarily in response, but in the Under the aid to non-public pupils statutes, there's a declaration of the policy, which is in section 123B.40, and it's the intent of the legislature to provide for distribution of educational aids such as textbooks, tests, pupil support services, so that every pupil, or every school pupil in the state will share equitably in education benefits and therefore further assure all Minnesota pupils and all their parents freedom of choice in education.
Ms. Akala-Sainer, did you want to add to that?
Yes, just for clarification, having worked as a non-public counselor for 25 years, the position does not, I'm a public school employee, and the homeschool, currently, if a homeschool parent has a question, they have a right to contact the public schools. If they have a particular counseling question, it would be funneled through the non-public counselor, not to the counselors who are already in their positions. So it wouldn't be the existing counselors, it would be the non-public counselor who's hired for that position by the public schools.
Senator Eichhorn, anything you'd like to add to that?
Mr. Chair, thank you. And Senator Swadzinski, and kind of like Anne Marie alluded to, we're trying to make sure that every student in Minnesota really has the same opportunity across the board, regardless of what their grade level is or where they choose to go to school, which I think is our charge. So hopefully this discussion helped clear it up a little bit. But I think we're going in the right direction here to make sure everybody has the same opportunity.
Members, any other questions for the testifier or for Senator Eichhorn? Seeing none, Senator Eichhorn renews his motion that Senate File 580 be laid over. Thank you, Senator Eichhorn.
Thank you.
Senator Nelson. Senator Nelson has Senate File 3629. Senator Nelson, would you like to move your bill?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move Senate File 3629.
To be laid over? Senator Nelson,
Yes.
do you have an A4 amendment?
I do, but it's not in my packet, but maybe you all have it.
Okay. This is your first stop, so we'll treat that as an author's amendment.
Yes, thank you so much.
So,
I'd like to
members,
offer the A1 as an author's amendment, the A4.
Senator Nelson has the A4 amendment, which is an author's amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed,
Aye.
nay. The motion carries. Senator Nelson, if you would explain
Yes.
Senate File 3629 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Well, this is our Safe Schools bill. Safe Schools is a bipartisan priority. As you may know, the existing Safe Schools program for school districts authorizes a levy of $36 per student and an additional $15 per student for schools who are members of an intermediate school district. These are in the Twin Cities metro area. The funds may be used for small facility improvements like hardened glass, security features at school entrances, as well as for personal police officers, counselors, nurses, that type of thing. Through the levy, about $32 million is currently raised each year for school districts and around $5 million for intermediate school districts. In 2018, you might recall that there was $25 million in cash that was part of the omnibus bonding bill for safe schools. And you might recall that was on a first-come, first-serve grant basis. And then you will recall that in 2019, we passed $30 million for Safe Schools aid. That is aid directly to the school districts on a per-pupil basis. Schools have told us that they prefer this method greatly as opposed to the first-come, first-serve grants method. So Safe Schools revenue includes both that Safe Schools levy, which will continue, and then aid. And so the bill before us, Senate File 3629, is the Safe Schools aid. It also does a few other things, members. It expands the list of eligible school debt obligations that Safe Schools money can be used for, specifically allowing them to be paid off by Safe Schools revenue. And it also, these funds can also be used to include public announcement systems, emergency communication devices, and other equipment related to violence prevention and facility security. Senate File 3629 expands the list of eligible purposes for direct expenditures of Safe School revenue to include school-linked mental health services delivered by telemedicine, and it also allows for inclusion of cybersecurity measures. This was Senator Uyghur initiative. It requires the Commissioner of Education to make a report to the legislature describing Safe Schools revenue expenditures by schools for each of these allowable uses. It is transitioning the current Safe School program for public schools from one that is based solely on local levy to one that is a mix of state aid and local levy. The levy stays the same. This is addition of direct state aid for Safe Schools revenue. This will allow the current levies to continue while adding state aid for the additional following purposes. Another $36 per student for school districts. That's $32 million aid statewide. There is a guaranteed $25,000 for small school districts. There's a new $36 per pupil for school districts that are members of cooperatives and other intermediate school districts. It's about a $9.5 million aid statewide. And there's a new $36 per student for charter school students, public charter schools. That's about $2.6 million aid statewide. The total new Safe Schools aid being proposed for public schools is about $44.4 million per year. When added to the current Safe Schools levy, which is about $36.8 million, there will be a total commitment of just over $81 million to public school safety each year. That is more than double the current amount. Lastly, Senate File 3629 will extend Safe Schools aid to non-public schools at the same rate of $36 per student. This is at a cost of about $2.5 million. So members, we know that students need to be safe. Every parent, every child needs to know that when they go to their public schools, they are in a safe place. Learning cannot take place if there is worries about personal safety. I think this is something that we must do and we should do. I will open it up for any questions. Oh, and we have plenty of testifiers too.
Senator Nelson, would you like to move your A1 amendment?
Yes, I see. I spoke to the A1 amendment without having it in front of me. I am sorry. Somehow my folder didn't have those things. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yes. So,
You could just
Mr. Chair,
quickly-
yeah, I'd like to move the A1 amendment, which I'll let staff describe that. I think I already described it in my presentation. If you can just point out the A1
Ms.
amendment
Elseth?
aspect.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Nelson. In your packets, if you look at the run titled in the top left corner, Safe Schools Revenue Fiscal Year 2021, that provides a run of the safe school costs. Columns D, E, and F are the current law levy, where D is $36 per pupil. E is for intermediate pupils at $15 per pupil, and then F is that total levy limit, which is about $36.8 million. Columns G through K show the new proposed aid from this bill. Column G shows the $36 per pupil in aid. Column H shows the the A1 amendment that was just adopted at the floor of $25,000, guaranteeing that each school district receives at least $25,000. Column I shows how cooperatives will each receive $36 per pupil. Column J shows that charter school students will receive $36 per pupil. And then column K shows the total aid from G, H, I, and J. So then if you look at column L, that's the total revenue for the levy plus the aid, and then that would be about $81.3 million. And then in the bottom left corner, you will see that this run does not include non-public schools aid, which would be about $2.5 million per year. I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
Thank you, Ms. Helseth. Members, any questions on the A1 amendment? Seeing no questions on the A1 amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The amendment carries. We'll have the testifiers come up next, and we have quite a list of them, so if you could keep your comments to 2 minutes, it would certainly be appreciated. So Ms. Hayes and Ms. Beverly, if you could come up. And following that will be Ms. Dietrich and Mr. Lundell. And testifiers, certainly welcome to the Senate E12 committee, and we appreciate your coming in to testify. If you could state your name and who you represent prior to your testimony, and if everybody would do that when they come up, it would be appreciated. So, Ms. Hayes, if you would like to go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Connie Hayes. I'm superintendent at Intermediate 916. I'm testifying today on behalf of the intermediates and asking that we have an accommodation for some additional revenue over the current law, which is $15 per pupil unit. The intermediates received a grant in 2018 to pilot innovative mental health services for the most complex special education students we serve. These students experience significant mental health challenges, trauma, and difficulty with self-regulation of behavior. What we did with our resources is we embedded mental health clinicians in 2 elementary classrooms with 13 students. And our first year data shows very promising results. First, the student outcomes. 7 students avoided costly hospitalization. 2 students avoided out-of-home placement. 1 student made so much progress that they are now transitioning back to their local district, and our parent will speak to that momentarily. 77% of the students more independently managed their symptoms. 71% of the students showed a reduction in mental health symptoms or disruptive behavior. And here are the key financial markers our pilot has demonstrated. Third-party billing has averaged about 81% reimbursement of costs, significantly reducing the need for state investment. The grant dollars covered the remaining costs, averaging about $5,300 per student per year. Members, in the last 14 years as superintendent at 916, I have been in untold discussions with MDE, DHS, school district leaders, school board members, educators at all levels, parents, advocates, and mental health providers. Too often, these discussions ended with lack of action, not due to disinterest, but because of the difficulty in finding how to make our systems work together for better student outcomes and safer environments for our students and staff. And now, this data demonstrates the success we can have with some intentional, resource-supported partnership between education and mental health providers. These pilots are showing that with consistent, ongoing funding, we can help reduce the rising need for long-term state investments. But if resources are not ongoing and we have to reduce this program, The significant workforce challenges in finding mental health clinicians will again delay and reduce services to these very high-need students when we have to rebuild our programs when resources do come through. Please include the intermediate school districts when considering an increase in the Safe Schools levy in our public schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Ms. Beverly?
Hi, my name is Alicia Beverly, and I'm going to talk about my daughter. Her name is Jordan, and she's 12 years old and has high-functioning autism and anxiety. For her, that means when she's anxious, she worries to a point of making herself sick, hits herself and sometimes others, throws things, and has a very negative self-voice. When she started in the educational mental health classroom at Garner Blue, things really changed for her. She got to receive therapy from a licensed therapist while she learned her math and her science. My child, who previously struggled, started to thrive, and her teacher and her therapist became my partners to help me learn how to best support my child at home. Jordan is now in the process of transitioning out of the mental health classroom and into a regular middle school. She's doing so well with the skills that she's learned, healthy ways to cope with her anxiety, and many other skills to be successful in life. Every child with disabilities and mental health needs deserves the same opportunities that Jordan has had. Thank you. Unfortunately, the funding that makes that possible is at risk. The Intermediate Mental Health Innovation Grant expires in June, and there's no funding to take its place. I'm asking you to help fund classrooms like the one that helped Jordan thrive as an investment in our children's future. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your issues with us. We really do appreciate that. Thank you for coming today. Next, we will have Ms. Dietrich and Mr. Lundell.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Kim Lewis. I'm with Minnesota School Boards Association. Ms. Diedrich was in the other body this afternoon. We're here this afternoon representing 333 school districts across Minnesota, all school boards, and we're in support of 3629. Without a doubt, school safety, particularly mental health of our students, is a paramount concern to our school boards, administrators, and communities, and we hear it every day. The Safe Schools Aid districts received last fall as a result of the 2019 legislature was very much appreciated. MSBA is now in the process of surveying our districts on a number of the issues that they've used that money for. We asked districts how they utilized the one-time safety aid, and then the second question was, what are districts' unmet safety needs? 62% of the responses thus far have used the money for physical school safety measures. Entrances are being secured, cameras are being added, emergency communication systems, et cetera, are being upgraded or put in place. But districts still have a number of outstanding needs and projects. Only 28% of the districts who responded put funds towards costs of licensed school counselors, licensed school social workers, and licensed school psychologists to help provide early responses to problems. It wasn't because more didn't want to hire these professionals. It was overwhelmingly because the districts didn't have the ongoing resources necessary to hire those folks and make sure that they're able to keep going. To know that the funds would be there for more than a year would be ideal. Overwhelmingly, districts are asking for licensed professionals to address the growing needs of students that are suffering from depression, anxiety, and other issues. We continue to hope and advocate for this funding to be permanent, and we appreciate Chair Nelson's efforts and support her bill today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Mr. Lundell?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Brad Lundell, Executive Director of Schools for Equity and Education. I also do legislative work with the Minnesota School Social Work Association, Minnesota School Psychologists Association, and the Minnesota Administrators for Special Education. We all support this bill. Every year, we come in with a wish list of things that we would like to see done. Some of those kind of strain credulity that, given the resources that may or may not be available. But we view this as a very realistic and something that of the things that we have on our wish list this year, this is probably the most realistic of the pressing needs. We view what we really want to thank Senator Nelson for coming forward with these, coming forward with this bill. Like Ms. Lewis said, I think that moving towards something that would keep this money permanent and in the base going forward would be the optimal situation, but moving it along 1 year at a time, I think, is a good step in the right direction. I really want to also highlight the fact that the rural cooperatives would receive money under this bill, and I think that, as the case of with the intermediates, these organizations or these entities provide needed services and do need the school safety revenue. So again, thanks to Senator Nelson for bringing this bill forward, and look forward to working with her as the session moves on.
Thank you, Mr. Lundell. Next, we will have Mr. Schmidtke and Mr. White. If you folks would please come forward. Mr. Schmidtke, if you would go ahead and state your name, who you represent, and proceed with your testimony.
Chair and members of the committee, my name is James Schmidtke, and I'm a special ed teacher at Intermediate School District 287. I'm here to advocate today for the 1,100 students served by Intermediate District 287 and their school safety needs. 287 is located in Plymouth and serves 11 member districts in the West Metro. We provide specialized student services so that all students can thrive in school and in life. Services that include special education, alternative learning, transition services, and career and technical education. At ISD 287, under the current funding that will eventually be going away, we have developed programs for the most vulnerable students that are working. There are currently, like I said, funding that will eventually go away. 287 delivers student-focused programs which have translated into safer schools for all students and for staff. Our therapeutic teaching model is a great example of this. We need funding for proper training for new staff and ongoing training for current staff to deal with the rapid changes we are seeing in the student populations being referred to us. My district has some of the most vulnerable students in the state, and they deserve safe schools. But because their mental health needs are not being met due to funding and staffing shortfalls, our teachers are experiencing concussions, eye injuries, hand, shoulder, and knee injuries that are permanent. Not only is this unsafe for staff, but it endangers the safety of students. When staff are injured, students are immediately put in dangerous and vulnerable situations. Long-term, we are dealing with staffing shortages due to injury-related absences and the difficulty in getting people to apply for and stay in jobs in a Level 4 program. Staff aren't able to make real and meaningful connections with students, which is essential in a Level 4 school, if they aren't in school or stretched thin by covering up for positions we can't fill. Safer and healthier schools would mean that we are going to have less injuries of staff, which means we're going to be able to educate all of our kids to be the most productive members of a society that they can be. People and structural solutions can keep our students in school and make sure those connections, the emotional ones that are so necessary, are made and skills are taught so that our students can be productive and healthy members of our communities. Minnesota can invest in our students today and prevent long-term hardship later. I would ask that you include intermediate school districts fully funded in this bill. We need your help, and our students are counting on your help as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidtke. Mr. White, welcome to the Senate E12 Committee. Please state your name and who you represent and proceed with your testimony.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel White, and I'm a student safety coach at North Education Center. Okay, a student safety coach at Intermediate District 287 in New Hope. I've worked in education for over 25 years, 13 years at 287, and have been a proud member of Education Minnesota for most of them. I've dedicated my career to working with kids who are often slipping through the cracks. They're students with a variety of tough barriers in their lives. Many see and experience violence in their communities, sometimes witnessing drug sales taking place right before their faces. Some have instability in their homes, homeless, or even being raised in a complicated single-parent household. Many of our youth fear law enforcement due to tragic experiences in their community, often certain of their futures. This is trauma, and more than half of Minnesota's Black and brown students have experienced it or are experiencing it in a way too often. Our kids navigate these traumas with little to no mental health support at all while still attending school. For many years, for many of my students, getting the help they need in school is a matter of life and death. It is hard to talk about the grief and pain that I personally go through when I lose students. I've attended too many funerals of young people in our community. I know too many students whose lives end in tragedy. I know too many students that have been failed over and over again. It is not our students or their families or poor neighborhoods that are broken, but it is our system. This is an unspoken truth that rich kids get mental health treatment and poor kids go to jail. And race matters. As a community, we fail them. We fail them because we don't provide mental health support they need and deserve. Safe Schools funding is one of the few funding sources that an intermediate school district can use to get the support, bringing mental health into our programs. And yet intermediates did not get Safe School aid last year and now are left out of Senate File 3629. Trauma is treatable. Safe School dollars help give staff needed professional development about childhood trauma and what we as staff can do to better support them and create a successful school environment where our kids can thrive. Every day, my intent is to breathe life into our students, to support them to address their mental health needs, to help them process their trauma, and still be able to do the math and the reading that they need to do while ensuring their safety. Collectively, we have a chance to give our students a better life, one that doesn't end in tragedy. And I'm at a place of question, wondering why is it that the intermediate school districts have been left out of school safe bills? Why would you let some of the neediest students in the state fall deeper through the cracks? And what I would say to that is my students would inspire you. And I'm inviting you to come out to North Education Center to shadow me for a day as a safety coach and to meet some of them personally and see how they're doing in school. Doing well in school, graduating, getting a great job, becoming a productive citizen, supporting their families and being contributing members of our communities and fulfilling their dreams. My students deserve this as much as many of you all, your sons and your daughters. And so I thank you all for your time. Thank you, Mr. White. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Mr. Chair,
Senator Nelson.
while the next testifiers are coming up, I need to just clarify some things that might clarify some of the testimony.
Sure.
If you'd like, I could do that right now.
Yes,
I want, because I think this is very important. I've listened to the testifiers on each side of me and the mother regarding the intermediate school districts. I think this is a concerning issue. And I do want to just clarify that these students are funded. These students are funded through Safe Schools. Now, the question is if the dollars are getting to the intermediates where the students are being served. And I want to direct the committee and the concerned testifiers to page 3, lines 19 through 24. I neglected to mention the new language in this bill that actually requires that the Safe Schools revenue that students who go to intermediate schools receive actually must be sent to the intermediate schools and be used for Safe Schools approved revenue uses. So please know that these students are being funded. They are being funded just as are other students. And this bill actually makes sure that the funding actually follows the students to the intermediate school. So I just wanted to clarify that. I neglected to do that earlier.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. Next, if we could have Mr. Kroonquist and Mr. Haugen come up, we would appreciate it.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, can I ask a quick question?
Senator Swedinski.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidtke and, I'm sorry.
Samuel White.
Thank you. How long, Mr. how long have you taught at District 287?
11 years.
How long have, and you said 17?
This is going on my 13th year.
So are you guys the exception? Because I'm speculating turnover must be amazingly high at your schools.
It is very high.
Numbers for us?
I don't know any particular numbers,
What's
but
your gut?
turnover, I would say turnover is right around 30 to 40%
A year.
a year.
And you talked a lot about injuries in kids and staff. Do you have any numbers of like dollar amounts or anything that would help us? Like in an average year, how many dollar amounts in hospital bills does your staff have and your kids have?
To be timely, I do have a lot of those numbers. I could get them to the committee.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Swedinski. So if the other testifiers, Mr. Kroonquist and Mr. Haugen, would please come forward. Feel free to go ahead, Mr. Kroonquist.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Scott Kroonquist with the Association of Metropolitan School Districts. And thank you for the opportunity to share a few comments. We want to thank Senator Nelson for bringing Senate File 3629 forward. Safe Schools Aid has been a top priority on our legislative platform for several years. And I think as you're all familiar with the most recent student survey that came out and showed the clear evidence that our students are really begging us for some help in this area. And that help really needs to be in the form of more school support professionals, counselors, social workers, nurses, psychologists. And to do that, we really need permanent ongoing funding. While we greatly appreciate the one-time aid that has been approved over the last 2 years, and while it was put to good use, it really did have to be directed more to one-time expenditure areas, mainly facilities, security cameras, doors, things like that. So we are really hoping that in the end here, you're going to be able to get a target that's going to allow you to make that aid increase permanent. And we do appreciate the fact that it's aid. Thanks, Senator Nelson, for doing that, for not putting it on the levy. We would take the levy if that's your only option, but obviously aid is always the preference if the funds are available. I do want to raise just a couple of issues, and one of them just came up. We are very hopeful that the intermediate school districts will be included with any increase. And I think that's the difference. I think that's what the previous testifiers were really trying to convey. Yes, intermediate districts currently do get Safe Schools revenue, but they've been at the same level for many years, like our school districts have been, and so they're hoping that if there's an increase approved this year, it's going to be approved for not only regular school districts and co-ops, but also the intermediate districts. And then I do have to note that this would be a significant change in terms of really for the first time directing this aid to our non-public schools. And we just think that in a time when your public schools are facing some pretty major funding challenges. I think you all know we continue to have a major shortfall in special education, $700 million cross subsidy, $100 million cross subsidy in our English learner program. Our school districts, the 41 that I represent, are looking at $93 million in combined budget shortfalls for the next school year. And so we would suggest that the focus should be on really adequately funding our public schools. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll stop. Thank you very much.
Mr. Haugen, if you would please state your name and who you represent and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak with you on this important safety bill. My name is Mike Hogan. I'm the principal of St. Mary's Mission School on the Red Lake Indian Reservation. We're a small private school that humbly served the students and families of Red Lake for over 128 years. I am proud of the successes that we've had as our school throughout our history. 100% of the students that we serve are Native American. This fall we became accredited for the first time in a few years, and we're expanding, or we just recently expanded to 7th and 8th grade. We've been successful despite the challenges that our students have to overcome. Depending on the source that I use, 60 to 70% of our students come from families that live below the poverty line. On our reservation, over 500 children are in the foster care system. Many of our students are raised by their grandparents, and an alarmingly high rate of babies are being born addicted to drugs or alcohol. Suicide rates are higher on reservations and with Native Americans than any other group in our country. I personally respond to suicidal students every month of the year. The challenges that face our school and our students moving forward are real, but they will be overcome, and I'm proud of the way our students are determined to succeed despite challenges and setbacks that they face. For our students to learn, to thrive, and be successful, they need to feel safe. As I read through this bill, I quickly thought of how this funding could help my students on their journey to lead happy, healthy, productive lives. I quickly thought of things like upgrading features we already have, things like cameras, controlled access, intercom systems. Funding these things can always be very helpful, but in my opinion, these necessary features are there to get us through times of emergency. As an educational leader, I love the freedom this bill gives us to be proactive and to address the root of our safety problems, mental health. For me in my school, focusing on mental health and using these funds to help pay for a school counselor or to use it for other preventative mental health measures is how I can best use the funding to keep my students safe. In my role as principal, I consistently have to remind third grade teachers all the way up to eighth grade teachers on their QPR trainings, which is what we use for suicide prevention. I have to help teachers prepare scripts for what to say when students tell them they're thinking of self-harm. I have to consistently remind them to ask students, are you suicidal? Do you have a plan? Are you safe at home? And who can you call tonight if you're in an emergency? Promoting student mental health has become something that needs to happen in public schools and non-public schools alike. We need to find a way to meet these needs before we're in the hospital with the students. This funding can help schools provide extra resources that can help promote mental health. At St. Mary's, we have several initiatives that we're in the planning stages of right now. These are all things that we can use funding for to move forward with and implement them to fruition. Our number one need is an additional full-time counselor to work with students and lead small group counseling sessions, and also to work with family to get the support that they need outside of school. During a suicide prevention roundtable discussion with other Catholic schools on Indian reservations, the most successful resource that we found to preventing suicide in our kids is small group counseling with students that starts in the early elementary years. We'd also be able to use this funding to help us as we invest in social emotional learning curriculum for our students, trainings for our staff. This bill and the funding that it provides non-public schools can help us pay the cost of these initiatives to prepare our students to lead happy, helpful, and productive lives. Thank you for the service that you guys provide to the people of Minnesota, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about my support for the Safe Schools Bill and the support it will provide non-public students. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Haugen, for your testimony. We truly do appreciate it. Mr. Bornstein, if you would come forward, please. If you'd state your name and state who you represent and proceed with your testimony.
Name is Joshua Bornstein. I am the Executive Director of Torah Academy in St. Louis Park, a Jewish day school that has students from early childhood through 8th grade. Thank you for the opportunity. Obviously, as we've heard, there are so many different safety needs. And one of the, I think, opportunities that we have is to allow different schools to address their needs, whatever they're facing. I want to talk for a few minutes about security on the safety side, though I fully embrace the other needs around the table also. I never imagined 21 years ago when I came to my job that I would become a quasi-expert on school security, and I'm not an expert, but more than I bargained for. Unfortunately, as the world turns, I've had to become a lot more knowledgeable than I would have imagined, but it's an important piece. By us at Torah Academy, our primary concern is not internal security, though many schools have that issue and they need to address that. By us, we're worried about external security. We're a Jewish day school. Jewish communities are always at risk. We are located on the most heavily Jewish block in Minnesota, and God forbid if someone really wanted to make a name for themselves, they could do that really quickly. And the 300 children that we have by us every day, we have to make sure they get home every day safely. By us, our approach has been a proactive approach. Yes, we have cameras, and yes, we have doors and windows that lock and close and don't let people in, and that's critical. But what we've found is very important for us, especially as a smaller organization, a smaller school, because the last thing we want to do is to have a message out in the public that if you're a smaller organization, you're more vulnerable. So we've had to do, the approach we've taken is a proactive approach. We have a professional security director, and his job is to be outside primarily all day long, watching who's going by, what's coming by, and making sure there's no one that's checking the place out, videoing, cameraing, doing a routine, whatever that would be. Just Monday, 2 days ago, we sit on a city park, so we don't have barriers around the play area. There was someone lurking in the park that looked off, and as part of his training, he went to go interview the person and ask them if he could help them at all. The person was quite rude to him, looked a little hostile, postured a little hostile. He backed away, went into his truck, and called St. Louis Park Police. St. Louis Park Police came, spoke to him, felt he was maybe perhaps mentally off, but nothing more than that, and let him go about his day. That was Monday. This morning, St. Louis Park Police came by the school to speak to our security director because this person who we interviewed Monday is suspected of armed robbery of the Pilgrim Cleaners around the corner from the school, and they want him to have his eye open to see if he's wandering the park again today. So the training of how to notice people that are out of place, who don't belong there, is critical to be proactive. The last thing we ever want to do is have the threat ever get into our building. A note on Jewish communities. Jewish communities are incredibly small worldwide, and I don't mean in numbers. I mean in the fact that we're never more than one step removed from knowing what happened somewhere else directly. As an example, there were 2 prominent attacks the last few months in the United States. One in a small synagogue in Muncie, New York on Hanukkah. That, although I'm born in St. Louis Park, went to Torah Academy as a student, and continue to live in St. Louis Park, I got married 1 mile from that synagogue in Muncie, New York. The other was the attack that was in Jersey City that was actually an attempt on a small school, but spilled over into a grocery store because the doors were locked to the school. My surrogate grandmother growing up was from Jersey City. So here I am, a little St. Louis Park boy, and yet both places hit home in a way that you can't imagine. Safety and security on all levels, whether it's mental illness, whether it's social workers, whether it's proactive security, hardening a target, these things are critical. Every student in our communities needs to go home safely as best as we can, and we have to make sure that we're covering as many bases as we possibly can. I'm happy to answer any questions, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Borstein. Members, any questions for the testifiers or for Senator Nelson? Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could I ask that Ms. Hayes, Connie Hayes, come up to
Ms.
the
Hayes,
table,
would you please come up? Senator Clausen, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Hayes, you recall I had an opportunity to visit your school a few years ago, and this is in response, I think, to Senator Swazinski's question. During that time, you had a one-pager that you outlined some of the issues, the number of accidents of your faculty members, number of calls for mental health issues, police calls, and so on. I would appreciate if you have an update of that, or even if you don't, if you could share that at a later date, if you could send that to us so we could see. And if you have maybe off the top of your head some of those same statistics, because they are, I think, very relevant to the discussion we're having today.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes, Senator, I think you're referring to a document that was actually created by Intermediate 287. However, we have very similar statistics, and if I can share some data that's a little bit different but tells the story as well. and that is the data on our workman's comp insurance and claims. And as you might imagine, in our school districts, it is very high. If you are familiar with workman's comp, you know every organization gets what's called a mod factor, which represents the injuries that you have under workman's comp in your organization. If your mod factor is 1, that says that you are average for that kind of industry. At intermediate 916, our mod factor is 3. So do the multiplication in terms of the number of injuries that we have. Another factor related to that is that our workman's comp insurance is escalating quickly every single year. And then the last thing I'll say about that is the injuries that are represented in our workman's comp insurance program are injuries that fall under the severity of workman's comp. We have many, many more injuries that don't fall into workman's comp guidelines that we also have to manage with our staff. So the concern about injuries in our intermediate districts is universal across all 4 of our districts. And it is concerning to our staff, and all of us are working with our staff to try to provide a safe environment. And we know we're always going to have some injuries given the work that we do. But I like to say better student success equals better safety for our staff. And that's one of the messages we want you to hear about the need for increased revenue to support our students so that our staff are safer as well.
Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for that. Maybe you could talk with your colleagues, and if that document is still available, it's very, very telling of some of the experiences.
Yes, I'm sure Intermediate 287 Superintendent Lewandowski can prepare that for the committee.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Members, other members have questions? Senator Uyghur.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I guess this came on. Mr. Chair and Sarah Nelson for bringing this forward. And Ms. Hayes, if you could stay up there. We all agree that this is a significant issue, challenge that needs to be addressed, and it needs more resources. Students are at risk, staff is at risk. And when we talk about the achievement opportunity gap, this is one of the ways to address that as well. If you're not safe or if you're not getting the services you need, you're not going to learn. That said, I think there may be some disagreement or not a common understanding as to the impact of Senator Nelson's bill and what it would have for intermediates. I did have a A2 amendment, which I did share with Senator Nelson, and it was suggested by the intermediates. I served on a board for 916 last century, and when I was a school board member, and I've been to a lot of meetings, and I've heard from your very capable staff and parents, as well as in 287. Many of us are drawn to tears when we hear what you face in trying to provide hope. But what I heard was that the revenue that you are, that I think that Senator Nelson is intending may not be the same that you expect. And so if Mr. Chair, if the A2 could be distributed and then some discussion, realizing this all gets laid over, we have targets, et cetera, but I think it's important that people are treated equally. There's a transparency in terms of intent. So I'll have the A2, and maybe I'll have, if council could, or legislative analysts could just state it for clarification as to what it does, and then some discussion.
Ms. Helseth, would you please go through the A2 amendment, and then I'll have a comment from Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Uyghur. It's being passed out right now, but this A2 amendment would provide $21 per pupil unit for intermediate school districts in aid, and this would cost about $6 million per year. I'm happy to answer any questions on the amendment.
Senator Nelson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to be very clear that it is alarming. I've seen the statistics, I've seen the photos, and the concerns of our students and their staff at our intermediates are of great concern. And so I want to be very cognizant of that fact. And also to Senator Uyghur's question, I do believe there might be some misunderstanding here. And so I'm going to ask Ms. Hofer if you can describe for me, or Ms. Helseth, how our Safe Schools student funding is counted for students who attend intermediate schools. My understanding is that those students do receive Safe Schools funding that goes to their resident school district. So they would be getting the $36 per student, just like any other student. However, there's an additional $15 on top of that because of the high needs type of student who would go to an intermediate setting. So my understanding is that there is not less, there's actually more. But that is why I have inserted the section that I mentioned on your bill, 3.19 through 3.24, subdivision 4, stating that the money, that the revenue, the Safe Schools revenue must indeed follow the student to the intermediate. So that would be the $36 per pupil plus the additional $15, and that it must be used for safe school uses. So that is my understanding, and I do want some clarification to make sure we're all on the same page regarding that.
Senator, Ms. Hofer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Nelson, and committee members. So under current law, 126C44, school districts are allowed to levy $36 per pupil. For school districts that are members of an intermediate district, they are allowed to levy an additional $15 per pupil unit. That $15 per pupil unit is then required by law to be transferred to the intermediate district. I suppose a district could choose to send additional money to the intermediate district from the Safe Schools levy, but it is only the $15 per pupil unit that's required for transfer to the intermediate district.
And Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ms. Hofer. And so my question is to how is on the revenue runs when a student is counted in Ms. Helseth's spreadsheet, those students who are in a particular school district, resident school district, and they go to an intermediate district, are they not counted as part of the Safe Schools students enrolled in the resident district?
Ms. Hofer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Nelson, and committee members. So they would be counted for the intermediate district. They wouldn't; those intermediate students wouldn't generate an additional $36 for that intermediate school district.
Oh,
it's just the $15 for the intermediate district.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ms. Hofer. We will definitely consider, this is a little bit different than my understanding, so we will definitely consider going forward this need. My indication was that they were receiving the Safe Schools aid and the intermediate aid as well. So we will consider this moving forward.
Senator Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just for clarification, so I guess I'll have to ask Ms. Hayes first. Well, let me go back. So what we just learned, I'm not sure, but what you're saying is that this addition, the way the language is right now, that it doesn't really work the way Senator Nelson thought it's going to work. In other words, the schools won't get that, the intermediate schools won't get that extra aid that we thought they would?
Senator, or Madam Hofer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Chamberlain, so the intermediate districts under this language would not receive an additional $36 per pupil. They would retain their levy authority of $15 per pupil.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hofer. So, and I understand Senator Nelson.
Senator Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand, Senator Nelson, that this was not what you really thought it was going to be then. I'm wondering, I was going to ask Ms. Hayes if this would work out, but obviously this, the way it is now, it probably wouldn't work out. Right? What Ms. Hofer just explained, you wouldn't really get extra money. So I'm wondering then if Senator Uyghur's amendment just makes it clearer and easier. Now, this is a lot of money, and there's going to have to be some movement here, because the 44 million and then this would be on top of it, so we'd have to do something here. But maybe Senator Nelson is, what Senator Nelson, does Uyghur's amendment make it clearer, or are you going to say, well, we have to work on that language so the intermediates do get some money?
Thank you,
Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chair. Senator Chamberlain, that is a good question. I believe that there is merit in the Uyghur amendment. I would, at this point, since we are going to lay the bill over, I would rather not add it on now, but know that it is in consideration, especially in light of the fact that the additional $36 of Safe Schools aid, which is the direct aid to the school, to the students, is not there. Knowing, and I want to just be clear that I'd just as soon not add on the amendment now, but do it as we consider our Safe Schools package going forward. And I do want to be clear that the House did not, well, I'll address that later. But so I just as soon not add to this now until we get further clarification and see what the runs look like and all that. And of course, till we get a budget target.
So,
Senator Uyghur, I assume that you're okay with not having a vote on the amendment? Is that correct or incorrect?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and in the spirit of, working together, it's been red flagged, and
Yes.
we'll get it figured out.
And I do want to thank Senator Uyghur and the clarification as well. I think that is a very important piece. So I appreciate that.
Members, we got time for about one more question. We have another bill to do, and we have to be out of here at 4:30. So, members, Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I will try to be brief, but, we are hearing about the well-being of our students. We're hearing about mental health challenges. We're hearing about social, behavioral, emotional challenges. And I appreciated Mr. Cronquist making the point that one-time funding is not helpful in hiring the staff that we know is so desperately needed across our state to support our students. The student support services personnel, school counselors, school social workers, school psychologists, nurses, and chemical dependency counselors. Minnesota, just to remind members and everyone listening, Minnesota ranks at the bottom in the nation in terms of the support that we provide to our students in terms of bringing those support professionalism to our schools. And we've had this conversation, Senator Nelson, and I understand that the Safe Schools levy and aid provides the opportunity to hire those professionals. But we know from history that there is not a lot of that hiring that happens anyway, even through the ongoing funding through the levy. And one-time funding, as has been pointed out, it makes it particularly challenging. So I will just submit again that we need to do better by our students. And this is important. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I appreciate this conversation about making sure we get the formula right and that we are providing Safe Schools funds and support to our students. But we need to be honest with ourselves and with our communities, and most importantly with our children, that this does not address the just gaping need in our schools to have more professionals who can help our increasing needs that are so severe for so many of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kent. Senator Nelson renews her motion that
Yes.
Senate File 3629 be laid over.
Yes, a couple closing comments, please.
Very quickly. Senator
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Lawson.
Just a clarification. We know that the Safe Schools levy is one of the few ways that the actual school boards can raise funding. There is a cap, $36 per student within the district. The question I have is, the $36 from the state, let's say a school district has an authority that their cap is $500,000, but they're only at $250,000. Is that $36 coming from the state for that $250,000? Or is it actually a full, in that example I'm using, up to $500,000?
Senator Nelson.
Seeing I was wrong once before, rather than telling you exactly what I think here, I'm going to have staff answer that. But it should be direct aid to the student, to the class, to the district.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Clausen and committee members, I want to make sure that I'm understanding the question correctly. So under this bill, so a district would still have the $36 levy cap, plus the 15 if they're a member of an intermediate district. And then the aid would be a separate amount on top of the levy. So under the bill, a district wouldn't necessarily need to levy the full amount to get the $36 in aid per pupil. They could get the aid separate from the levy. Does that answer your question?
I believe it does. So really, the state is supplanting for the local school districts the money. They could actually reduce, if they wanted to, based upon their needs, they could actually reduce their local levy amount because they're still going to get $36 per student from the state.
Ms. Hoffer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Clausen, and committee members. There is not language in the bill that directs that the money must be used to supplement, not supplant. To the best of my knowledge, most districts do levy the full $36 per pupil. So they certainly could reduce that and just take the aid. Though, from what I've heard, districts do need the additional funding and would, to the best of my knowledge, likely not reduce that levy as well. But it's difficult to say without actually speaking to the districts. But it's certainly one way that this
one way
could
they could
play
do
out.
that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam
Senator
Chair.
Nelson.
So thank you, Mr. Chair and committee. And so it is straight aid on top of levy. The levy is not changed. I did want to address one important issue because it came up a number of times, and that has to do with permanency of funding. And I understand Senator Kent's concerns. And as we know, one-time funding is hard to use for hiring. That happened with the Support Our Students several years ago. It's a very difficult thing. And I am cognizant of that, but I want to remind the committee that last year the House had no money, zero, for safe schools. And so at the end of session, we were able to get $30 million for safe schools. And it was one-time funding then. I would have liked it to have been ongoing, but it was something that we were able to get last year. And in this bill as well, I would like this to be ongoing funding as well. This is not a budget year. And so my hope is that this should be a bridge to a full budget year. And we want to make sure that our schools can indeed get the safety precautions and people and staff that they need, and to remember that the levy could indeed be used for those ongoing people costs. With that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to renew my motion that Senate File 3629 as amended be recommended to pass and laid over.
Senator Nelson removes her motion that Senate File 3629 as amended be laid over. Thank you, Senator Nelson. We have next Senate File 2963. Folks, we have to be out of here in about 4 minutes, so we'll have to move this right along. Senator Nelson.
Did you say 2963?
2963.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is my third bill presentation today. All right. Senate File 2963 requires, one of the things we've noticed is that over the last years, we have seen legislative proposals that require schools to develop safety assessment policies of one type or another. And often those bills have really gathered criticism for being a burdensome mandate. I think the person next to me might have talked about that, a burdensome mandate, and for potentially singling out students with some sort of particular nonviolent characteristic. characteristic. And so the bill before you, I'd like to move Senate File 963, as a safety assessment policy. A school board and a charter school must adopt a safety assessment policy that establishes a process for assessment of an intervention with a student whose behavior may pose a threat to the safety of school staff or students. The policy must be consistent with the Minnesota School Safety Center's recommendations, and the policy must include a procedure for parent notification and student referral as appropriate. Nothing in this section precludes school personnel from acting immediately to address an imminent threat. Senate File 2963 is a modest bill. It does not unduly burden districts and charter schools. And I want to remind the committee that in the previous bill, the amendment that we adopted allows the development of safety assessment policies to be funded through Safe Schools revenue. Senate File 2963 calls on school boards to adopt measured, appropriate policies to deal with students that they enroll and know. The locally developed policy must be in keeping with the Minnesota School Safety Center's recommendations, and it requires districts to continue to treat parents of the affected students as the affected students' primary educators and valued district partners. And I believe, now this says there's an A4 amendment. There is not. It was the wrong bill. Yes. Okay. And so the amendment that passed in our previous bill, the A4, allowed for funding of this through Safe Schools revenue. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'd be glad to turn it over to testifiers.
Senator Nelson moves that Senate File 2963 be laid over. Ms. Nelson, or Ms. Lewis, I'm sorry, if you would go ahead with your testimony and please keep it short.
My name is Kim Lewis with the Minnesota School Boards Association, and very briefly, we have several model policies that our members subscribe to. One of the model policies is a policy for violence prevention. It specifically calls out a number of pieces that the chair is asking for. It calls out for the district to act promptly in investigating all acts and formal or informal complaints of violence. It states the board will review and approve policies to prevent and address violence in schools. It calls for the board to adopt a crisis management policy along with their crisis management teams, to provide training, to coordinate a local school security review, in-service training for personnel and board members, promote student safety responsibility, and other pieces. Within this model policy that MSBA provides to all of our members, there are 10 implementation strategies, 19 prevention strategies, and 7 pieces relating directly to student support and personnel. So we believe that these policies are important. That's why we have them for our members. We just hope that it's not a mandate, that it's a policy that they can be encouraged to utilize. And we appreciate your support.
Thank you, Ms. Luce. Members, we'll take questions offline. We do have to move this bill forward. I apologize, but Senator Nelson, any closing comments?
Just final comments. We are not mandating any particular use of a particular policy, just stating that there must be one, and funding is available if needed to develop that policy.
Senator Nelson, would you please renew your motion?
I would renew Senate File 2963, be passed and
laid over.
Laid over. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. Senator Nelson moves that Senate File 2963 be laid over. Members, this concludes our business for today, March 4th. The meeting is now declared adjourned.